I can tell you that every information that we bring for you on our show Weekend Deal is authentic, is accurate, is easily verifiable. And that's why we can tell you that almost 60 years ago to the day, this great country, Nigeria, decided to take the plunge, a plan that involved courage, tenacity, diligence, focus and determination to become an independent nation. It's almost 60 years, so it's our birthday in a few days as a nation, and we're taking cognizance of that fact on our program today. We also know that it's a nation of people who are well, who can be enduring, who have stamina, who have strength that will take Nigeria to the next level. So your wellness and your well-being is also key. How important is cardiovascular health? We're talking to a medical practitioner who will tell us a bit more. My colleague Suleiman Babajia Usman also sometime during the week and spoke with the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs. We will show you what the interview was like and how we can learn and benefit from it. It's a pleasure to have you on. I'm told that it's my colleague Elizabeth Agbai who conducted that interview, not Suleiman. Perhaps I've spent so much time with Suleiman in recent times that I actually got a bit carried away. But what is important is that you stay with us on Weekend Deal today and get the best of the best. We are current and we are real. My name is Thelma Obaza. A warm welcome to you. Weekend Deal. Keeping our company on Weekend Deal, your regular weekend breakfast show, in fact the number one on the continent. And you will be mighty glad that you kept our company today, especially as we begin early celebrations for our great country's birthday. It's 3 score since 1960 up till now. And that's why Francis went out to speak with those who know about Nigeria's history, the journey so far, and where we are now and what the future holds. Francis Obe brings this for us.
On October 1, Nigeria will celebrate our 60th year of political independence. Like many countries, anniversary is a time to reflect on past years, successes and failures, losses and gains in order to reposition and re-strategize for a better and more desirable future results. How far have we fared as a nation?
Irrespective of our differences and the difficulties, but we should thank God because Nigeria is a great nation, and I will say so far so good. Even though we are not yet there, we still term ourselves as a developing country. But we should thank God that with all the resources, both human and natural resources, that God has blessed this nation, that has kept the nation going, and as one and indivisible country. We should thank God for that.
Nigeria at 60. Glorious moments. How far we have come. I will be telling us that we have come very far and well.
As a country, we have come a long way in years and strength, and it will not be too much to celebrate the little wins and victories as we celebrate our independence.
We should have reasons to celebrate. Number one, if you look at the crop of leaders that God has blessed Nigeria, look at how many from the military to democracy, at least you will say we should celebrate. Look at, for example, the budget cycle we turn from January to December, the MTF, the borrowing plans that the government brings, the agricultural revolution that the government, we all join together to pursue and make sure it is done so that the common man will benefit from it. So I think, to me, these are some of the benefits that we have gotten.
If we are not celebrating anything, we should be giving thanks to God that despite the civil war that we witnessed within 60 years, we came out yet as one indivisible country called Nigeria.
Some Nigerians hold the view that 6 decades after independence, the country has failed to work for them in a way that is satisfactory. There are also those who argue that the fundamentals of nationhood are flawed, that Nigeria as presently constituted is not a workable union.
There are 3 major challenges affecting us, which I think this government came on the premise of these 3 challenges, which I think the government has done pretty well, considering where we're coming from prior to 2015 to where we are now. Number 1 is the economic challenges. Number 2 is the security challenges. Then, of course, number 3 is the corruption. These are the 3 major challenges.
The major challenges have been 1, unity. Within these 60 years, we have not united ourselves. We have not thought about really believing that the man from the north is the same from the man from the south. The man from the south is the same with the man from the east. Instead, we have seen ourselves as, I am a northerner, you are a southerner, Mr. B is a westerner.
Notwithstanding the challenges, the new decade will be a defining moment for Nigeria. 60 years after independence, 50 years after a civil war, and at the beginning of a new decade, it is important that a new generation of citizens is challenged to reposition the country.
We need to do a reset. We need to reset the thinking and set the mindset of our teeming youths. I saw something, I was just laughing. They said the population or the amount of people waiting to steal is higher than the people currently stealing, which is true. So we need to do proper orientation so that our youths and the population and the people that are being governed will know that Nigeria belongs to all of us.
Our constitution is in defect. Once it is properly amended to suit Nigerians and the country called Nigeria, we will move 100% from developing country to a developed country.
The future of Nigeria is in the hands of the youth. The youth are the social forces that will bring change to the country. How they handle it will determine where the country goes. Above all, where do Nigerians envisage the country will go after 60 years of independence?
I would love to see a Nigeria, a one united Nigeria. A Nigeria that Nnamdi from Anambra will go to Kano and marry from Kano and live happily in Kano, whereby we will not be thinking of where you're coming from, the religion you have, but rather you think of you're just a Nigerian. A Nigeria where our economy will be a strong economy, a viable economy.
The Nigeria of my dream is where I will be proud Nigerian, where I don't see myself as a Christian, where I don't see myself as a man from North Central, where I don't see myself as a baggy man, but a Nigerian. That is the Nigeria I dream of.
Our focus on Weekend Deal will be on Nigeria's journey to nationhood. 60 years after, how far, so far.
We've had quite an interesting journey the last 60 years, the last 6 decades. It's been interesting. We have celebrated together, and sometimes we have wept and mourned together. And it's that unity, that indivisible unit called Nigeria, that we need to propagate into the future. Anything other than that may not be in our best healthy interest. Thank you, Francis Ogbe, for that very incisive and in-depth review of Nigeria and talking about the journey so far. The discussions continue. We're not resting on our arms to bring you information from different parts of the country and from different people with what's on their mind, all patriotic Nigerians who want the best for our country. And that's how we join Elizabeth Agbai as she chats with Honorable Mande Shawulu. Honorable Mande Shawulu represents the Takum Donga Usa constituency of Taraba State. It's all about a great Nigeria. Join me as I welcome Honorable Mande Shawulu.
Thank you very much.
I know it's your second time in the National House, and so far you've been representing the constituency of Doga, Osa, and Takum. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right, Nigeria is almost 60 years, and for me, a 60-year-old child is no longer a child. Is not just even an adult. Is a large adult. You know, if he's in the working field, we say the person is planning for retirement, but Nigeria is not retiring. Nigeria is taking a giant step, which is why we say 60 is a new 40, because that's when life actually starts. I would like to find out from you, do you think we have reasons to celebrate?
No, absolutely no. Sometimes you don't move, and most times when you decide to wrongly assess yourself by yourself, with yourself, you don't make it. A child that is not doing well in school, you don't assess him by himself. You assess him by the standards of things that are happening around him. In my own opinion, we have to seriously interrogate where we have been and where we are. Is that we are in a crossroads in the country today. We have, in terms of security, for instance, some years ago, even me, just a year younger than Nigeria, you will say, there was a time that you could travel from one end of the country to another without fear of armed robbers, without fear of any form of insecurity. And in those days, women or farmers would leave their products on the roadside. And so what you simply did was that if you wanted to buy something, you pick and drop the money.
Yes, I remember.
And continue your journey. We had a situation where people love to live in other parts of the country other than their own. Their businesses thrived. Their religious freedom was somehow guaranteed. People did things that way. And what are we talking about today? Today we are still talking about how to conduct elections. Today we are still talking about a currency. In those days, I had a friend in the university who flew out of the country. They used to go out of the country for holidays. How much were they paying to go out of the country? And he even asked them, a pound was about, the time I was about a pound, was about 1 naira, 1 to 1.
It was 1 to 1, yes.
1 to 1. And
dollar was less.
A dollar was about 65. That was when I became conscious, 65 pence or something. So where are we today? So I think that some people would rather say that even though we are not where we should be, we are not at where we want to be, we are not where we were. In many aspects of our national life, we have actually regressed.
Turn back. Why is it that with politicians in Nigeria, indeed in other parts of the world, there is always violence in elections?
Well, let me make it a little bit broader. Let me accept one fact. Any child, any young person who says that we politicians at the cause of the problem is 110% correct.
Nigeria is right.
Yes, because leadership is what puts a mix of different things together. You see, you need a cook, a good chef, to bring things that if you eat them separately, you will throw up or they will harm you, together to make a good soup that people will enjoy and say this is good. That is the role leadership plays. Now, indeed, of course, we could say without any fear of contradiction that all over the world, if you check the barometer of the perception of credibility, politicians, and indeed we journalists, we rank very low there. But the legislature around the world too also has serious problems. It's not just in Nigeria of credibility. But look at it this way. What is it that they have in India that we don't have, that we cannot build hospitals, we cannot furnish them, we cannot have things done properly? What is it that they have? What is it? Look at Singapore, that moved from a third world, and people are talking about the miracle in Singapore. What was the difference? The difference was simply leadership. A leadership that was focused on the welfare of the citizens. A leadership that realized that when you are rich in the midst of poverty, you are actually a very poor person. A leadership that realizes that your strongest point actually in a group is the weakest link, because the weakest link can get you. So we now have a situation where right from the First Republic, the people that led this country did not think about the welfare of the citizens. They did not connect the dots that will make things work properly. Because of lack of leadership, our resources, the enormous resources that this country has, is applied wrongly in a number of ways.
Our young people, as we speak, do not believe in even going to vote. There's voter apathy. What can we do, as leaders? What can you do as a political leader in Taraba State to reverse that voter apathy in your place, for instance?
Well, the truth of the matter about voter apathy is so serious that I have seen situations where, and some of the pre-elections, that people will simply say, what am I going to gain from voting? Just give me 500 naira. As little as 500 naira or 100 naira, they could give up their votes their right to vote. And it's very unfortunate. A friend, a former journalist like myself, called me from Edo yesterday. He was saying that they were selling votes for as much as 5,000, 10,000 naira.
Wow.
And people are willing to do that. People are willing to do that because there has been no connection. They have not been able to make the connection between good leadership and their welfare.
But I can buy the votes and vote whoever I want to vote.
No, you can't have your cake and eat it.
How?
No, you need to understand the process of election. You can't have your cake and eat it. Let me tell you what happens at party primaries, for instance. At most party primaries, when you go and do your accreditation, you collect the voting card to vote. There is a party agent there or your party chairman or local government chairman, when you must give the paper to he will write the vote and give it to you to go and cast. So it's more complicated. It's not that simple that if I collect money, I can still go and do what is very difficult. Usually it doesn't end well. That was one. The reason why, in my own perception, why there is apathy, people don't want to vote, there are multiple reasons. For instance, I believe, I don't have any evidence, but I believe that the Nigeria's voters register is bloated. There are fake names there. There are names of dead people. It is not, and we are all culpable. We the leaders, we the politicians, we the community leaders, and the INEC and security, we are all culpable. We know. That is why we have about 70,000 people, million people on the voters list. But you cannot have up to any election, it's going to be very difficult to have up to 30 million people vote. Not to talk of 50 million people. It's bloated. That is one, that in my own opinion will be one of the reasons why you say that the voters, the people, there's apathy, a wide gap. Genuinely true. There's voters apathy all over the world. No doubt.
But I know in your own case, you came on, I remember what it says, it's official. You won by so and so number of votes. I think 71,000 or something?
Yes, 72,000. Okay,
72,000.
Yes.
Okay.
72,000 out of 450,000 voters.
Were they all live and...
Yeah, they were live. Vote people cannot vote. That's why I'm saying that if you have 400,000 people on the voters list and 70,000 people vote, or very high turnout, we had 100,000 people vote. My votes and those of my opponents. Where are the remaining voters?
No, they didn't show.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that I don't believe that all of this, that's one. So we have to be sincere to ourselves. I was a reporter in Jos when we covered the presidential election in 1999. Was it 1999 or so when Obasanjo was elected?
1999.
Yeah. And I went to several polling units in Jos. The votes that were cast, the people that queued up to vote, if all the genuine people who are genuine vote for you, the number of people who did not show up, whether they are ghost voters or they are dead people, if the ANIC people connive with security to write their numbers for your opponent, you will lose the election very, very gallantly. This in the US, for instance. You know, we in Nigeria, we're now saying, you have technology will help to stop this. In Germany and parts of Europe, they don't trust technology. Many parts of the world, elections are still done manually. Do you know the reason? Because people have to be honest with themselves and their neighbors. In some parts of the world, when they finish election, your opponent you can leave the election that has been concluded at the polling unit, the result with your opponent, and go home, and nothing will change thereafter. You see, that comes from the leadership has set an example of dishonesty all through these years, that you can win by way of deception, that you can win by way of fraud, that you can win by way of violence. So nobody trusts the next person. That's why we want to create technology, we want to do this, to stop. Why did it have to take the European Union and the US to issue threats that a visa ban before people will now and of course the responses from us was also because the world is interconnected. Any security breach here affects the United States.
Yes, definitely, it's a global village. That's what they say. And I refuse to see all gloomy pictures as you try to paint it. That my life is a thing of Thanksgiving and I must celebrate. Now, what is your parting words to Nigeria as we turn 60, especially in the light of the crisis we've gone through?
Yeah, my word to Nigerians is that we need to look past our leaders. We need to look past the past. We need to look ahead and look at new visions of Nigeria and of how we want to go. If we look at South Africa, for instance, if Nelson Mandela had, when he had the opportunity, set upon revenging on the white, today South Africa will not be where it is. Today in Nigeria, we are using DSTV in South African, we are using NTA in South African, and there are so many things that we are using from South Africa because Mandela set an example that he did not have to be empowered by all means. Mandela set an example that he did not have to be a leader against other people. Mandela will go for events at the time that the people were asked to go. Mandela was truthful to himself. He was truthful to the people that he led. He set an example of honesty, of an attitude that we need to imbibe if we want this country to change.
All right, thank you so much. I felt you said it all. You know, attitude is important, and they need to look ahead of our problems, see them as a stepping stone rather than stumbling blocks to move ahead. Thank you, Audrey, for coming.
Thank you very much.
The show is A Weekend Deal. We'll continue right away. Don't go away.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We totally were enlightened by your chart with Honorable Remandi Shaulu of the Katun Donga Usa constituency of Taraba State. It's quite a mouthful. Thank you very much, Honorable, for making the time. Nigeria is a great country. There's no other way to just say it, because to comprise over 150 million people with diverse identities, cultures, languages, cuisines, and to be able to spearhead success in many endeavors. I think we may not be where we're meant to be or where we want to be, but we are going somewhere, and if we stay together, stay united, stay focused, stay resilient, stay determined, we may take a shorter time to get there. Let's support each other and stay unified. And that's exactly why Charles OBK is telling us at this time, Nigerians, how far, so far? Perhaps this question begs an answer.
Within 19th and 20th centuries, West African countries remarkably witnessed European influence and colonization. British colonial superiority could hardly imagine reflecting on past miseries associated with above their economic or political match. Reflecting on past miseries associated with colonial subjugation, economic and territorial exploits that led to various conquests and distorts of ethno-cultural strata of the people gave rise to the quest for self-governance and independence. Amidst the turbulence associated with pre- and post-independence Nigeria, a shadow linked with disparities of fortune and challenges lingers.
From history, we have been hearing that Nigeria was doing very well before the colonial masters left. And Nigeria, of course, is a place where everything is provided by God. The time I was born up to this time, I think Nigeria has been a conducive place, even though things seem to be deteriorating. Nigeria, I think, has come a long way, but we are not where we are supposed to be. But we have everything to get to where we are supposed to be. Because from what we read about our time before the colonial masters left, before the independence, what our heroes passed, the people who fought for our independence, I think what they had in mind, if they were to be alive today, they will weep for us, sincerely speaking. So we have every opportunity to put things in order. Everybody needs to get involved in the development of Nigeria. We blame too much our leaders on everything, but I think every individual, every Nigerian is a part of where we are today, sincerely speaking.
Celebrating the 60th year anniversary of Nigeria's independence from Britain is indeed a great historical landmark. It also unveils a great hope that centers on Nigeria's active and comprehensive expectations.
Independence is just like a festive period where everybody from all walks of life, both Christian, Muslims, and other religions, celebrate at the same time. We have march pasts, then you can see your president, your governors, your senators, all that particular time. But now it's no longer the way it used to be. Now no match pass. So the time of Queen Elizabeth come to Nigeria, he stop at Oje Dianyore in Ibadan. We sing. I don't finish primary 6 before that time. So we sing that Ewa womo ba to ti dele yi o. Ewa womo ba to wa be wa wo. Ewa womo ba to ba, the time of Queen Elizabeth. See our population today, upon that we are suffer. So we thank God we are still alive. God bless Nigeria.
We used to go to March Pass on 1st October, but this time around we are not seeing it again. Our children of nowadays, they don't know their chairman, they don't know their governor, they don't know anybody. But in our own time, we can go to our independence and salute to president, and salute to governor, salute chairman of our local government, and from there we know them.
Today, the question to be x-rayed remains Nigeria. How far, so far? The journey to greatness and nation building is in progress.
That journey is definitely in progress, and I think growth, development, sustenance, and manageability of our country, its processes and its people goes beyond much past. But I do know what it is to go down memory lane. It's such an interesting time talking about the yesteryears. What we're saying now instill values in those coming after us. Let them know that we are one Nigeria and we want to remain so. Parents and guardians, do what you must. Teachers, facilitators, you also have a responsibility. Every Nigerian has a responsibility to be a patriot. That way, the good vibes spread and we continue our progressive journey to great nationhood. You are watching Weekend Deal. Keep your correspondences coming. At a time in the program, we will marshal them out. But for now, as you continue to enjoy with us, we continue with more details of the program. Is it an interview we have next, or is it a feature? Our interview comes up next, yes, with the Minister of the Intergovernmental Affairs, talking about Senator Akume, Special Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator Akume. Elizabeth again takes this one.
He is the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs. Join me as I welcome His Excellency, Dr. George Akume. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And while I welcome you, I say congratulations as Nigeria turns 60.
Congrats too, thank you.
All right, in our place, and I know in Nigeria generally, 60 years is no mean feat. It is celebrated. And Nigeria has come of age, 60 years. Now, do we have reasons to say, okay, we should celebrate? How have we fared?
Well, let me do a little bit of history here. Since its amalgamation in 1914, Nigeria has gone through many stages of joy and of pains. If we talk about pains, then of course we must mention the collapse of the First Republic. And this led to the Civil War, a very bitter Civil War that lasted for 3 years with massive toll in lives and properties. So you see, from the collapse of the First Republic, a very painful experience. Attempt at participatory parliamentary system of government was jettisoned. We ended up with a civil war that honestly did a lot of damage to our country. And of course, we later witnessed the Matsine riots, we witnessed the Boko Haram riots. We are still going on. We are still strong, a formidable nation with a lot of commitment to our total existential purpose. When we look with other people in other parts of the world, Nigeria is a place to talk about. And not only that, the quality of our own personnel. I remember what Andrew Young told me at Montego Bay in Jamaica sometime in 2002. We were on a vacation, and he said, you go to US, over 20,000 Nigerian consultants. And these are people who have trained, most of them have been trained locally, some of them have decided to earn a living in other parts of the world, but that does not stop them from recognizing the fact that we are a people to watch. We have the brains, and of course, many of them are in other parts of the world, and if you move them out of some of these countries, the health system will collapse. Honestly, we have every reason to celebrate our 60 years of independence, and when you are 60 years, you are even, in life, as a human being, you are closer to where you are going than from where you have started. So we have made tremendous progress. People never gave us a chance. They said we were what? A mere geographical expression, but we have subsisted. Some said they were going to collapse 10 years after independence. When we returned to participatory democracy, they gave us only 10 years. 1999, they gave us only 10 years, but we're more than that. That is the truth. So we have every cause to celebrate.
And now you have given me reason to actually roll out the drums and celebrate. It calls to mind what Mr. President did not too long ago. He unveiled the logo of our anniversary celebration. As a top man there as well, what do you think about it?
The logo?
Yes.
Well, the logo is a recognition and celebration of our diversity. As a nation, as a people. This is one country that is so vast. I look at the nation there, and huge as we are, over 200 million people. And the logo is very symbolic. That is, I say, it is a representation of our diversity. Culturally, we are diverse. Plurally, we are also diverse. And religiously, too, we are. The bottom line here is the quality of our capital, of our human capital, and of course the rich natural resources of this country, which also include the land. So all these are represented on that logo. And when you look at the diamondiferous representation is also a clear mark of the quality and talent of the Nigerian person, and of course the rich variety of natural resources. Today, there is a temporary setback because of the COVID, but it's not just restricted to us here. It's all over the world. But again, measures have been put in place by government to ensure that we exit the recession as quickly as possible, as we did in 2017.
Politics and elections are always hand in hand. I always tell myself, elections are the mothers of politics, or the mothers or the children of politics, however you put it, but they're just hand in hand. Now, with the elections going on, I have noticed, and I know I'm not alone in that perspective, our political terrain, our elections are always inundated with violence. Why is that so?
Well, I speak essentially as a social scientist and as a practitioner in the field of politics. There are critical people in the electoral process, very critical people and institutions. You have the judiciary, you have the umpire, and that is the INEC in this case, and you have security as a huge institution that is also involved. Each and every one of these institutions has something to do to ensure the security of the elections. And it is very important that each of these institutions must play their role maximally and efficiently to ensure that there is no violence. Critically too, we have people, as I've said, the real actors, those who are aspiring to positions of trust, and their supporters, and of course the press, which is also a major institution. Politics is a game, and therefore it has its own rules. So if all of us keep to the rules, there will be no problem. If you commit an infringement on the football pitch, the referee shows you a card. If it is too grievous, it's a red card. But if you commit an infringement and you are allowed to go through, you do another one, the game is bound to be bad, because some people will borrow from that and the whole thing will be out of gear. And the quest for power is a very complex and very serious business. You see, there are people who believe if you lose, you have lost everything in life. And so they go all out to ensure victory by hook or crook. That's what I mean. But having said that, if we are good citizens and we believe in our strength, then the issue of stealing votes will never arise. And if the umpire does well, there will be no problem. Security people, they do their own bit.
You know, Nigerians have always looked forward to the period of election. But at the end of the day, we find out that almost every election ends up in the courts. When is our votes going to start counting? When are we going to pull the votes, believe in whatever is given to us, and then leave the judges or the courts out of it?
That's a very tough one. The Semi-Electoral Act, maybe taking cognizance of who we are, has also made provision, elaborate provision for incorporation of the judicial process in the entire act. Therefore, it's not something you can just wish away. It is there because framers of the law believe that if things go wrong on the field, then the court should be in a better position to take a look at this, at the entire process that produced certain persons for the purpose of redressing the wrongs that have been committed. And so it will be difficult to take that out. It's a matter of we having confidence in the judiciary. And most of us have confidence in the judiciary. If you look at the fact that the president himself went to court how many times? I think 3 or 4 times. Anytime he was defeated, he would go to court because he knew he was cheated. He never asked for violence. He never solicited violence. So we must learn to be also good footballers, good political footballers, as the case may be, so that when we know, if we know, and when we know that we have actually lost, there is no need wasting everybody's time and thinking you could buy your way through.
All right, I don't want to lose the sight of the fact that you're the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs. And I know that sometime not too long ago, that 6th of July, precisely, I remember, 2020, you made some proclamation around the cottage industry for about 774. I want to know, can you speak more on that, enlighten Nigerians and me as well?
Well, the president has made a commitment to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. Now, it's a pledge we are going to implement, and the implementation has started. He's very determined to do that. We have a very active youth population, and we do know, as a fact, that they deserve better. And that is why there have been so many initiatives, all of them geared towards improving the lot of the youth and the generality of the Nigerian people. Having said that, let me go back to the issue of medium-scale cottage industries in the local governments. We look at the poverty map of this country, and we also drew up a program to match this poverty, to see how best we can pull people out of poverty. And we so that this is a country that is rich in agricultural produce. And what is expected at the next level is to create an agricultural value chain as much as possible. Of course, in certain places it could be mining, but we're looking basically at agriculture, substantially at agriculture. And when you look at the fact that when you process, and that's the value chain I'm talking about, you make a lot of money. The farmer makes a lot of money. We said, okay, I'll give you an example. These the industries are expected to be based on what we call economic corridors. For example, if in my state, we're producing yams, we're producing oranges, we're producing Benny seed, soya bean, citrus fruits, and so on. So, look, at the end of the day, what are we going to do? In these local governments, which particular produce is dominant? We'll look at it. And if we say, for example, Ukum local government produces more yams, it does this, then we cite one there for the purpose of transforming the yam tuber into yam flour for the purpose of export mainly. If you look at the fact that in Jigawa State, one of the local governments excels in the process, in the production of system, which is Benny seed, and then you cite one there for the purpose of cleaning the Benny seed and dehulling it. And so if you do this, and we think, and based on the analysis, one factory should be able to employ not less than 2 people, direct employment for 200 people. Then, of course, indirect, we'll move it to about 350 times 774. You know the number of people who will be pulled out of poverty. And so the whole thing is very, very inviting. It's challenging, but it's doable.
I like that because I see a brighter future for all of us. It's bright already, and we're celebrating. Nigerians are marking 60 years of existence, and you've just reminded me that there is every need for us to celebrate. While we celebrate, we need to also be aware that the pandemic is still on with us. It's not gone completely. So your final thoughts and your final words to Nigerians as they celebrate in the light of all this?
Well, my great brothers and sisters, will mark our 60 years as a nation very soon, and you are invited to be part of the celebration. I want to appeal to you not to be part of prophethood of doom. There are those who will always talk negatively when they believe their interests are not served. Don't follow them. Listen to what is happening. I've given a history of our country. We have come a long way, and we're not going back at all. We are set to move. We are moving. Nigeria is becoming greater and greater by the day. Today, our economy is the largest in Africa. It continues to grow. We have a vibrant population. We have the sites. We have the talent. Don't behave like drenched chicken. You are above that. All of us are capable of self-pity, but not for so long. Today, we have pandemic. Pandemic is not forever. Just a passing phase. If not because of the pandemic, we were already growing at 2.5%. But again, as I said in the opening part of this interview, that the hope is high. We'll exit this again. Even in Europe, the pandemic is there. The way we are managing it here in Nigeria speaks volume about the quality of the people who are leading us. The president in particular. His team is doing extensively well, fantastically well. And that is why the curve is now going down to the greatest surprise of even the advanced countries. Of course, I made a comment here before. I said, don't be what? Prophets of doom. Have faith in your country. Be larger than those who seek to destroy this country. Forget about their status. Be united as ever before. Challenges of the COVID-19, challenges of security, but they're not so strong to dismember us. Take note of one thing. Let's always think about what Kennedy said. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And this is a country that is giving you all the opportunities to express yourselves. In commerce, in agriculture, in industry, in transportation, in virtually everything. Tomorrow, as I always continue to borrow from Bill Clinton, will always be better than today. God bless you all. Thank you.
Most definitely. Tomorrow will always be better than today because more will be added as grace unto us. Thank you very much. If I haven't taken anything out of this conversation, I have taken the fact that I must ensure that I'm larger than my enemies, those who are prophets of doom in my life. We'll move back to the studio. The show continues. Don't go away.
You're in the right place today as you begin to work with the Weekend Deal team to highlight that eventual date, October 1st. We're beginning to highlight Nigeria's growth and progress and development early, so that by the time we get to October 1st, it will be easy peasy. We'll be able to gather different sections of our country and celebrate who we are, from where we have come, where we are now, and where we are going. I totally enjoyed that chat Elizabeth had with Senator Kume, talking about the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs and Special Duties. Okay, I want to take this quote from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it says, "As far as the Constitution allows me, I will try to ensure that there is responsible and accountable governance at all levels of government in the country. For I will not have kept my own trust with the Nigerian people if I allow others abuse theirs under my watch." Powerful quote from a powerful helmsman, the leader of Nigeria. During the week, Suleiman Babaji Usman spent time with the Minister of State for Health. This is what he brings us.
There is no way one can forget the nostalgia of the eve of independence in 1960 and ecstasy pervading the whole place. And I remember as a primary school pupil, of course, you might not really appreciate what exactly was happening, but the ecstasy, the excitement, the mood was no doubt infectious. We had the flag, these miniature flags distributed to us, and the anthem then, Nigeria, we hail thee, on their native land, and all that. Putting the whole thing into context now. One can say that, yes, the expectation was that we would be free to do our own thing, we will be free to utilize our resources the way we want them. We will be free to determine our own priorities. We will be free to go the way we want to go. These are the components of independence. And of course, what it also means is that you will be prepared to live by the consequences of your actions. In my opinion, the rain began to beat us from the very point in time that we got that independence. It was like we got the independence and then we went to bed, we went to sleep. You recall that we had regional government, and that was our bright moment, if you like, because each region was then developing, growing at its own pace. We had rivalry that was progressive rivalry as opposed to destructive rivalry. The military came with understanding to correct ills, quote and unquote, of the society. But were they really corrected? So we jettisoned, as it were, the regional structure. We can't, because too many things have changed. That reality is no longer attainable. I do not agree at all with those who say that we don't have to roll out the drums. I do not agree. We have every reason to roll out the drums, even for the fact that we still remain one country, in spite of our fractured history. Whether you're looking at the politics, looking at economy, looking at whatever that we had suffered in the past. We had moved to the brim. Even we have moved to the edge of the precipice, and we had pulled back.
As we celebrate ourselves, we shall dedicate this song to
We need to take care of our teeming youth population. And of course, because of, we're talking of the future, and the future now is in the ICT. And we have so many of our youth involved. We only need to be able to direct their energy, that productive energy, prodigious energy into that future. Now, we have a lot to also gain from our entertainment industry, which of course is also populated by our youth. The national security is very key as well, because at the end of the day, without an atmosphere of peace and security, you cannot even do anything. These are some of the things that we are grappling with at the moment, and which I know that this present administration is also focusing attention on. Having the grace to come this far is in itself an invitation to all of us to come together, just in line with the logo of Nigeria at 60, togetherness. The choice is ours, and I believe we will make the right choice to stay together, to work together for the unity, peace, and progress of our country, Nigeria. Happy 60th anniversary.
We'll take 2 messages very quickly. Thank you for your messages. But if what we have time for now, we'll do it quickly. Good morning, NTA. Nigerians have reason to celebrate at 60 because we are united in spite of our differences. This is Kabir from Zaria. Quickly, good morning. I bless Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian and I will remain a Nigerian. God has established Nigeria and we must remain indivisible. This is Umoko from Akwa Ibom State. Thank you very much for your contribution. We will make time tomorrow to take as many messages as we can. Thank you for being there. I'll wrap up with a quote from our president. He says, we are going to secure this country. We are going to manage it properly. He says we will continue to improve the situation, the security, the economy, and will continue to fight corruption. Now, you want to make a call for any emergency? If it pertains to life, property, and your health, dial 112. You will get the response that you require. Thank you, Nigerians, for keeping our company. It's a fantastic day. Go out there, have a good time, continue to watch and enjoy and learn from all our programs on the NTA. My name is Thelma Obaze. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.